Welcome to Outsider Reviews, and we have the 2023 Ford Bronco Sport Heritage Edition. Now, this vehicle, we're going to go right into it. As you can see from the front end, we got LED lights, we got a front grille fascia. Now, this look is based off the 1966 Bronco, and I gotta say, it's got its own look. It's gonna be eye-popping. People are gonna notice you when you're driving. This may not be for everybody, but I definitely gonna catch your eye if that's what you're going for. As we can see here, we have the LED lights. Now, one thing I do like, and it may sound a little bit minimalist, but I like the cutout. I like the hood cutouts right here. When you're inside and you're driving this car, it just makes it look like you're driving more of a truck than it is a crossover. Now, this is an SUV. Sorry, this is an SUV. It does have 181 horsepower and 190 pounds-feet of torque, coming from the 1.5 liter 3-cylinder EcoBoost engine. It has an 8-speed transmission. So essentially, we're gonna give our feedback at the end of this video, but just lower your expectations due to the 1.5 liter engine. It is turbocharged, but it's still a 1.5 liter, and this is a pretty fair size vehicle. Now, over here we have a pair of 17-inch wheels. And you have the retro steely, white painted steely look that they were going for, but these are aluminum, all right? They're not steel, so this makes it a little bit lighter. Why do we need lighter? Well, we need it for fuel economy, right? We have 9.3 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 8.4 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway. That gives you a combined 8.9 liters per 100 kilometers. Now, over to the sides, we can notice we have the pinstripe, and over here we have the vintage Bronco writing. I love that they kept some of this stuff vintage, and obviously this being a heritage edition, you know, that's what you're going for. We have the white roof as well. So I love the contrast going on between the red, the white, and a bit of the blacked out area. I think it looks very sharp. And over to the rear, here we have the Ford badge, the Bronco Sport badge, as well as LED rear lights. It does have a tow hitch, can tow up to 2,200 pounds. That is a bit subpar numbers. Again, we'll give you guys our impressions at the end. We're not doing a towing test with this vehicle. However, that's the figure we got from Ford. So that's basically the overlook of the exterior. And now we're gonna pass it to Brian, and he's gonna take it inside.
All right, so here we are inside the 2023 Ford Bronco Heritage Edition. So as you can see, I mean, the front seats, decent amount of space here. I'm 5'11", so if we have a quick look around here, we can see there's lots of headroom. I find the driver position here is pretty comfortable. I've got pretty good views, like Pat had mentioned earlier. When you're looking out through here over the dash, you do kind of get a truck feel to it. I mean, you sit up a little bit higher in here than you would in similarly sized SUVs. I guess some SUVs, not all. But yeah, no, it's fairly comfortable. What we've got in the interior here, so we've got a combination of, we've got leather here, and mostly the seats themselves are material. We've got some, well, I guess technically 3-tone in here. So the exterior of the vehicle we've seen is red. The interior here looks like it's a fairly standard color. There's mainly blues and grays, and then we've got the final, the finishing with the red stitching here. 8-inch display screen up front here. This comes with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. So the Heritage model comes with Sync 3, which means you don't get wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It has to be a wired connection. So it is what it is. Up front we see here your climate control. So there is automatic settings and everything. This does not appear to have a dual climate control. I was a little surprised by that, but oh well. Everything seems to work fine though. Climate control within the seats. Down below we can see the wireless cubby for wireless charging for the cell phone. I got mine in there. Got a couple USB ports, USB AC and a 12 volts. And then down to our center console here. This is our shifter. That's a nice touch there. Just a dial shifter, super easy to use, works great. And then we've got the GOAT modes. So Ford's version of GOAT here is go over any terrain. That's something we definitely want to play with a little bit this week. We have tried the sand mode a little bit so far, but we haven't played around a whole lot with it. So more to come on that. So, I mean, as you can see, it's a fairly nice interior here up front. So let's hop into the back seat and have a look there. Okay, so here we are in the back seat. Again, tons of headroom. I find this vehicle, there's lots of space up top. One thing I have noticed the difference between the front and the back though. So very similar seats. You get it's basically a bench seat back here, but very similar design. Same as far as comfort and everything, it's basically the same. Leg space, however, for the rear passengers. So this seat's pushed a little forward. The official leg space is just under 37 inches. Again, I'm 5'11", so we can see the passenger seat here is pushed a little forward. The driver's seat was set for Pat, who's actually a couple inches shorter than me, and then I'll show you here. So my knees are basically right up to the seat there. So. And I can't extend my feet down low. So lots of room up top, a little less room down for the legs. But overall, I mean, the seats themselves fairly comfortable. And then in the center here, we've got some dual vents, climate control, and then some USB ports here. One thing I did find interesting, kind of popped out to me right away. So I do like these zipper pouches. I thought that was kind of interesting. But you get the Molly stuff down here too. So I don't know. I don't know what kids do these days that they need Molly on the back seat, but it's there if you need it. So have at her. All right, let's hop out and have a look at the trunk. So first thing you notice is that this is all basically manual open and close there. There's no power assist. You do have the hydraulics to help you out a little bit, but opening and closing itself is manual labor. So we'll have a look in the back here. With the seats up, it's about 32 feet of cargo space, so just this storage space right here. You do get a little bit of extra height here, but I find the depth with the seats up is not enormous. This nice little divider here that you can store extra stuff on top. Locks or unlocks in place, so it's fairly easy to take out. So you can either just throw it off to the side, or it actually fits nicely right in here if you've got both seats up. So a little bit of versatility there. You see you've got the rubberized mats down below, so I mean, if you put anything on that, it'll hold still. Just got some of our camera equipment here, and then your spares are underneath and everything like that. This just pops open. I'm not gonna rip the whole thing out. And for the fold down seats, just the button on the side and you're down. So with the two seats down, you've got about 65 feet total of cargo space. So I mean, overall, fair amount of cargo capacity there. But yeah, that sums it up. So this does have a dual open in the rear. There is just a little button right here, so you can pop on the glass. If you've got longer items, I don't know, skis or hockey sticks, whatever, sticking out the back, there is an option there for storage. All right, so there you go. Let's get on the road. We'll do some kilometers in this thing, and we'll let you know what we think.
All right, Brian, so here we are. We're driving on the Île d'Orléans in the belle province de Quebec. So the province of Quebec, Canada. And a little bit more about this car. Like I mentioned, it's a 1.5 liter. It's a 3-cylinder turbocharged EcoBoost engine from Ford. And as we talked about, the fuel expectancy, that's one of the main reasons why they went with a smaller engine. Now, you can't go up a trim and get a 2-liter engine, which may be my personal choice. However, at the end of this, we're going to find out how much fuel this engine actually saves you. As far as torquey, like I find it's plenty fine around city or any speeds below like 80 kilometers an hour. Like you're gonna you're gonna feel just fine with the acceleration. But driving on the highway, like you do need to limit your expectations.
So I think one thing I have noticed coming through some corners and everything, it seems to handle fairly nicely. Obviously you're driving, so you get a little more of a feel for that than I do. But I mean, you can definitely feel the car gripping a little bit. It seemed to come through nicely, cleanly. Didn't seem to be struggling or anything. Of course, that's at lower speeds. So we're not taking corners at 120 or anything. No, it just so far so good. We've been driving a little on 40 minutes now, and I'm still finding it quite comfortable up front.
Oh yeah, definitely comfortable. We're going pretty slow here. We're just going to test a little bit of acceleration, so I'm going to floor it. Yeah, so I mean, I'm quite okay with this kind of acceleration. I mean, this is what's expected from this engine. It's doing just fine. So yeah, we're gonna keep driving a little bit here, and then we'll give you guys a verdict at the pump.
Stay tuned.
Well, Brian, we just finished driving for about a week with the Ford Bronco Sport Heritage, and now it's time for us to give you guys what our opinions are. We're gonna start with driving and handling. I'm gonna go first. You're not first, you're last, especially when it's just two of us.
Ouch! Ouch! Said I quit.
You're not even getting paid.
Definitely quitting now. All right.
Driving and handling with the Bronco Sport, love it. I absolutely love it. I thought I was gonna hate it, to be honest with you guys, because of the 1.5 liter EcoBoost turbocharged engine, 3-cylinder, and I didn't love the sound that it made initially when we started it. I kind of told Brian, like, does this sound broken to you? And it wasn't. It's just a different sound that I'm not used to. But it was torqueier than I expected, especially since we had driven 1.5 liters in the past, and it took curves just great while still feeling like we're sitting higher up than any other crossover. I drive a CX-5 personally, and I like the fact that I'm sitting more up. It gives me more of a truck feel while handling really great.
So I will say about the handling, this is it's a smaller version of a Bronco, obviously the Heritage version. It basically has the same frame as an Escape, so it's not a huge frame to begin with, but it's a bit higher than an Escape.
Yeah,
a bit higher than an Escape. So the cornering and everything, I was expecting it to be a little more wobbly, but it felt really solid. It felt sturdy. It was comfortable going through corners.
It gripped the corners very well.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by that.
Yeah. On the highway, like, you're not gonna beat anybody in a race, but nothing to shy about. Like, I had no issues. Obviously, the Heritage does come in the limited with a 2-liter engine, so that might be more for you if that's what you're looking for. Speaking of the look of the interior, Brian and I are kind of like on different sides of things. Brian thinks size matters a little bit more than I do. I don't know where that comes from, but I'm talking about the 8-inch display. To me, I don't mind having a smaller display as long as I have buttons and knobs to play with. Brian, where do you stand?
Okay, so I hopped in this thing at first. I was looking around, like, I kind of like the look of the dash and everything fits nicely. At first, I don't know, I just assumed there would be a bigger display screen on it, and like, I mean, it's a good
That's
quality.
What she said.
Zing. But I don't know, and so I mean, after a week, honestly, it does the job. There's nothing to complain about here. The other thing we had just mentioned too that we were discussing is one of the things that I've noticed with some vehicles is So one of the things I have noticed with some vehicles is that they're putting more and more controls on the steering wheel, which is a great feature to have. It's supposed to keep your hands on the wheel a lot more and you're not reaching around looking for stuff. Some vehicles are putting that stuff into electronics, like especially like your audio controls and whatnot. So if it's not on the steering wheel, I'd rather have the buttons. And in that case, the smaller screen isn't really an issue, because I mean, you do have in this vehicle, you do have a full set of controls for your, well, pretty much a full set of controls on the dash and the center console here, as well as on the steering wheel. So by the end of the day, like, I mean, or end of the week, I guess, it wasn't a huge deal for me. It's just my first impression was I thought it was a little small as we carried on with our driving throughout the week. Kind of forgot about it, honestly. So.
Yeah, and I love controls on the steering wheel. I've done, we're both military, and I've done many driving course, advanced driving course, operator driving courses, anywhere from the States to across Canada. And the less time you take away from the road, the best it is. These buttons, you can feel them on the steering wheel. Absolutely love it. And I'm not for having everything on a screen, having to go through settings. I think that's more dangerous and less tactically sound. Not that we're going to war or anything with these Bronco. As far as price, which is our next point here, what's this puppy cost?
So this one, so the Heritage starts at about 44,000 Canadian. We got a few extras on this one, like obviously the paint color. There's a few extras on the inside. There's you know, some of the electronics and whatnot, some of the extra features in there. But I'm still a little hesitant on the price, honestly. I feel like it's not a terrible vehicle, but if you look at, you don't even have to go to another manufacturer. I mean, just look at what else Ford offers. If you go up to the full-size Bronco, yes, it's going to cost more, but a lot of the stuff that are extras on this model come on the base model of, I mean, some things don't. Like this one has the power seats, the 8-way power seats. The telescopic is all electric. For the telescopic for the steering wheel is all electric. That's an add-on for the Bronco, the full-size Bronco. But you're getting the bigger motor, you're getting more cargo capacity, you're getting better towing capacity, and you're getting more room, more comfort in the back seat. So I don't know. The other thing too with price is, again, we mentioned it here. This is based off of a frame. Basically, it's a Ford Escape frame. So vehicle size and everything like else, the Escape start at the base model Escape starts at 35. So that's almost a 10 grand saving right there.
Yeah, and you can go all the way up as far as a Ford Escape goes and get a hybrid platinum for $48,000. So $44,000 for this Heritage Edition, or $48,000 for a hybrid Escape. It comes down to what you personally want, right? Escape's gonna feel a bit more crossover like. This is gonna make, you're sitting upright a little bit more, you're a little bit higher. It definitely feels a little bit more truck-like. So that's what it's all going to boil down to, what you're actually going to want out of, like I've always said, you look at your driveway, you got to love what you're about to drive. If you don't, this is going to be a bad purchase no matter how much money you put in or how much money you save. If you hate it and you don't want to drive it, it's pointless. I think that's going to bring us to our pros and cons. Pro, handling. I gotta throw in the handling. It just felt really good. It handled great. I was actually quite surprised with the 1.5 liter EcoBoost. I wasn't blown away. I was just surprised. You're pleasantly surprised.
So comfort. I know we did talk a little bit about as far as legroom and space in the back. Legroom leaves a little desired for the rear passenger seat.
We didn't sit much in the back, but the legroom to the back could be improved.
But overall, I mean, I found the seats themselves very comfortable. There's tons of headroom sitting up front here. Passenger or driver seat is very comfortable. You got lots of arm space, lots of, as I mentioned before, I like to throw my stuff kind of everywhere. There's lots of little cubbies here, so I enjoyed the comfort side, especially if you're up front here.
Yeah, the interior is very comfortable and functionality. I guess that's what we can look at it. And let's go with the cons.
So we looked at cargo space.
Cargo space, not enough. It's just not enough.
It's a little limited.
I mean, yeah, it's limited. Not on the limited. It's not even limited. It's very limited. Like, it's a very short vehicle when you're looking at the cargo space in the back. From driving other vehicles that we've driven, it just feels like you do have the height. I mean, we have when the seats are down, 65 cubic feet.
Yep, of cargo space.
Of cargo space, and I do believe a lot of that is latitude at how high it can go, which is great. However, you might want to need that space on the floor, floor space, which you don't really have here.
Yeah, is what it is.
Yeah, and the next con is going to be value. The way I see my money value, like what I can afford for the same amount of price. That value is very opinionated and very depends on you guys, because this might be the best value for you. Okay, it does have great fuel economy.
Yep, absolutely.
It does have great handling, and it does have a great feel to it, and a unique look. Because it does look very unique.
It's definitely got the Bronco look. So, I mean, that you can't take that away for it. You want a Bronco, it looks like a Bronco.
Yeah. And you don't want to spend the $58,000 to get the full-size Bronco, then yes, a Bronco Sport, that's for you if you want to have that more of a Bronco feel. All in all, I like it. I'd like to see a little bit, some price deductions, but that's the world we live in today. But I do, as far as if we're taking the price out of the equation, love it, handled great.
Yep. I mean, just go to the dealer and negotiate your heart out, and there you go. You'll get what you want.
Yes, we have a video on that. We have videos on things not to do for negotiation, so check that out on our channel. I think that pretty much wraps it up. Do you have anything else to point out?
No, I think that pretty well sums it up. Let us know what you thought in the comments down below. Whether you like the vehicle or not, especially if you've test driven one recently. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
And until then, until the next videos, we'll see you later.